Well, hello everybody. Scott Roberts and Jerry Hubble here, and this is the OpenGOTO Community Live program, part of the Explore Alliance presents program. So I'm still a little bit zombie-fied from last night. We had
Yeah,
a
me too.
great star party last night. I mean, we had there's so many cool highlights. Kicking off, of course, with David Levy and Kelly Beatty. They both did just, they were both stunning. Libby in the Stars gave her first presentation on Mercury. I'd heard she was a little bit nervous, but she didn't appear nervous to me. I think she did a great job, and so I was really, I was proud of her, and undoubtedly she'll get more relaxed, I guess, but she seemed, I don't know, what did you think, Jerry? You think she was,
No, she sounded fine. I mean, she was,
yeah,
she covered a few good facts about, several facts about Mercury that were interesting, and
right?
it sounded conversational to me. She didn't stutter or do anything like we do when
No,
we're
no.
trying to think about what to say. She really didn't. I mean, it was good.
I remember one time I had horrible stage fright. I don't get stage fright anymore because I just let myself make mistakes. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
but
exactly.
you know, um, but I remember I had a teaching job one time to teach photography for adult night school in California, and I'm standing up there. I'm still in my young 20s, and the class is filled with people that are at least double my age. Okay, and I just felt really strange because there was like all eyes were on me. They were being very serious about it and stuff like that. But a silent audience and everything, and I had never been so scared in all my life. Now, folks, this is true. I've had a gun pointed in my face and I've had a knife held to my throat. Okay. Never was I more afraid than that particular time I had to give that talk. And so I thought, and I like forced words out. I just go, and got words out just so I could start rolling. And I was sweating and heart's beating fast and everything. And it was awful. And and then after I gave that one class and I finally got through it and everything, I just go, I am never going to allow myself to get that scared again. So and so it's
Yeah, yeah.
but she's obviously been up in front of people before. She has done television before as well, so she's got good stage presence, I think, and
Right. Yeah.
maybe a little bit intimidating that she's got to be with a bunch of astronomers talking about something that all of us know something about. Um, but I thought she was fantastic, so I'm looking forward to her next one as well.
Hmm.
Um, and there were so many highlights in the Star Party. From Norman Fulham singing James Taylor music to
That was good.
poetry. Um, uh, you know, uh, I can't remember if Kelly gave a little poem at the end. I think he was talking about it. Certainly, David Levy read off poetry. And so it was kind of like one of those star parties. This was not a gearhead type of star party where we're talking about all the technique and the gear and all the rest of it. We do that a lot on this show. But this was kind of like the other attributes of being out under the stars or being out with people that love the stars. And we certainly got a lot of that.
One thing
So,
I noticed that I'm
um,
noticing over the last few star parties is as diverse as even when we started, the topic areas and what we discussed was fairly diverse. But it
Yeah,
seems like as we go on, this was the most diverse Star Party that we've had so far in terms of topics and types of things that we present. It seems like there's a wide gamut of stuff
sure.
that encompasses the whole world of what a Star Party could be. And I'm sure there's stuff going to be new stuff in the future. We're going to try to come up with good ideas on other things that are astronomy related to present, right? So,
Of course, of course. So, yep, I agree with all of that. If I guess I should recognize some of the people that are watching us this afternoon.
that's on the side that people see me pull the Invisible Man act. It's just the lighting on my display. My head will disappear and I look like the Invisible Man.
Stuff's back and he's gone. I'm not sure if that's real or that's the electronics doing that. But Richard Gray says, howdy, all great Star Party last night. Caesar Brawlo says, good afternoon. Caesar, good Lord, you stayed up late, that's true. The Dizyas says hello on Twitch. Thank you for watching. Michael Whitaker's watching. Good evening. Dusty Haskins. Hope everyone. Oh, hey everyone. I hope you're all awake and chipper. Apparently, I'm not. Okay, so Jeff Wise is joining us. Bergman Scooter. Good afternoon to my zombie patrol. That's right. Wade Prunty. He's talking to Richard Grace. You get your advertisement check from Asteroid Hunters yet? Okay, well, there you go. Astro Beard is laughing here. Bergman Scooter, David Ing is with us. Libby was awesome. Jeff Wise is saying she's got a great future ahead. I believe she does. Dusty Haskins says, I fell asleep towards the end and woke up on the couch with the phone still on the ES Twitch stream. Well, at least we're able to put people to sleep.
Well, yeah, we can accomplish that pretty easily, I think, especially me.
Oh, me too. Me too. Mike wants to know, where is Terry the tardigrade, the new spokesperson for Explore Alliance. I got to do like some, electronic voiceovers or something like that. Terry's in here right now, kind of playing with his buddies and stuff. So maybe I should give him a little bit of air. Although tardigrades probably don't need air, right? I mean, they can survive the vacuum of space. So.
There's plenty of oxygen in the water.
That's true. Tons. Explore scientific knife to the throat. Oh, was that for calling Gerald Jerry?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I felt bad.
Yeah, you touched a nerve or something. I touched
I didn't know how to respond initially, and I wanted to break in and say, no, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
but
you did say that.
yeah,
I think it was just a surprise to everybody, so that's all right. Who knows what happened to Gerald a long time ago, for him to react like that, but that's okay. Maybe he was joking. That's what it was.
maybe, yeah.
He was
It
joking.
didn't bother me. I mean, I
Me,
like my name.
me neither. That's right. Yeah, that's, you know, anyhow. Chuck Lewis says she's pretty smooth. It's hard at any age. That's true. Book Davies says, I've been all over. There's no place like home. Yes, that's right. Tim Meyer says, too many clouds in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to get the scope out. Such a shame and a waste of Bortle 2 sky. Ken Poshedley says, hey, Scott and Jerry, first time here, and I'm glad to see what's going on. We're glad to have you.
Yeah,
Ken.
I invited Ken when I talked to him earlier today.
Yeah. I think Ken and I have talked on the phone before, and I think perhaps we've met before. So he'll have to remind me. Wolfgang says, for me, it's sometimes difficult to understand the questions for door prizes. Maybe it'll be good when you write them. Maybe we should. We should do that.
Maybe we could make a slide that you pop up with the question. I don't know.
I can do that. That's a good point, Wolfgang. Thank you. Thank you. Jeff Wise says, he says, I've killed for less. I don't think anybody that does educational outreach in astronomy for families has killed anybody, really.
Not much.
Anyhow, it's good to have you guys all on with us today. We wanted to talk about a few things today. I wanted to talk a little bit about, we were going to get into polar alignment, and we have started on the path of creating a new instruction manual for the polar alignment scope for the IXS 100 to start. And we will progress through the IXS 2, and then we're going to progress on through the right angle finder. And so here, let me share my screen and show you what the new instruction manual looks like. Okay. Now, I think that for most of you, that you're going to see the pattern here. It shows the reticle that's inside of the finder, okay? And it shows where Polaris is, all right? And so this also covers northern and southern hemisphere. So you got southern hemisphere constellations and northern hemisphere constellations here. So this is, of course, the Big Dipper, pointer stars pointing to where the North Star is, and then Cassiopeia. Okay, and what you're going to do to get it all aligned is, of course, the first thing to do is to get, and I just happen to have one here. There we go. This is the polar alignment finder scope. It's got an illuminated reticle. Let's see if I can turn it sideways.
You'll have to go to your main camera to show it better.
Yeah. I need a bigger office. Here we go. I know. Okay. So you can see there's a polar illuminated light here. And that just screws into the side. And it's just got a little red LED. And that lights up the reticle from the edge.
It's very small on the broadcast, Scott. You need to unshare your.
Oh, here. There we go. How about that? How about that? Okay.
How about that? How about that?
How about that? Anyway,
it still doesn't work, Scott, because you're still showing your main
oh, that's true.
Manual.
That's right. Let me unshare for a second. This is how much of a zombie I am today.
That's right.
Scott.
There you go.
Here
you go.
All right. Polar finder scope, polar illuminated finder, or polar illuminator, which is this little guy. It's got a rheostat on the end of it. Holds a couple of watch batteries inside of it. And the first thing that we have to do to use this properly is we would find. Yeah, I'm not going to struggle with that. We would find what the cone angle is for the mount, and get that aligned so that when I release this lock, the right ascension lock, and I point this at what I think is 90 degrees north, I should be able to look through the camera like at, let's just put Polaris in the field of view, I should be able to rotate the camera like this and be able to see Polaris like spinning on axis and all the stars spinning around it, okay? When I do that, I know that I'm really truly pointed at 90 degrees. Now I'm going to assume that you already have this aligned to your main scope, okay? So you would make those adjustments. There's push-pull screws that are in the back here and a little Allen wrench to do that with. And once you have that, then what you do is you go to the home position, okay? And the home position is just simply going to be pointing the counterweight rod straight down, 6 o'clock position, telescope's up at 12 o'clock position. You're going to make sure that the tripod itself is level, east-west. I like to have it north-south level, but east-west level is really important here. And then what you're going to do, and I can now share my screen again, okay? You can see what the challenge is of trying to show people how to do polar alignment without you actually being here, okay? What we're going to do is I'm going to see the stars in that field of view, and you would see them lining up, probably not lining up with the constellations that you see here in this quick guide.
And you're talking about the orientation of the stars, right? It's going to be rotated around.
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to release the RA lock, and then you're going to rotate until all the stars fit. So the stars in Cassiopeia, if you're in the northern hemisphere, Cassiopeia and Polaris, okay? Trying not to kick the tripod as you're doing this, okay? And get it locked on as close as you can, but you're not going to be exactly on, okay? You're going to be close, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come to your azimuth control knobs and adjust it until you start to get things maybe locked on. You might have to adjust again to get it a little bit better. Then raise or lower the whole altitude of the mount, and you just kind of keep fitting it and fitting it and fitting it until all those stars line up within the little holes of it's hard to be elegant. Okay, until you get all the stars lined up in those constellation circles. And once you've done that, you now have a fairly precision polar alignment. You could get it better, but I'll tell you that it would probably be tough for you to get it much better than that. You know, you would have to do like a long drift alignment or something. And for most people, you're not going to be making real long exposures. You're not going to be making 10-minute integrations or 20-minute or hour, you know, integrations like we did back in the old days with film. You know, so.
And if you were, you'd be using auto guiding, which is great because it will compensate for any offset in the polar alignment that causes declination drift.
Right.
And in fact, you know, I always suggest you don't want a perfect polar alignment. You want to have a small amount of declination drift because that'll make up for any lash that's in your gear on your declination axis.
Right.
That'll help you get a little better performance overall. So basically what we're doing is we're balancing all these different errors to provide the best overall performance.
Right.
And you don't need perfect anything to do that.
Right. That's true. That's very true. And so, that's our initial talk about polar alignment. I think that probably many of you have already used these kinds of polar alignment scopes, but there's always questions about what do those reticles mean? How do I do it? What are these dials? You know, and it's easy to kind of get off track and lose sight of, you know, the task at hand. So tomorrow I'll go through the Exos 2 polar alignment scope as well, which seems to be a little bit more complex. But again, it's easy. And So we'll walk you through that and keep going through this series of trying to do more and more about showing you how to do polar alignments, including doing a daytime polar alignment as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. But that's my piece on polar alignment today.
That's really an introduction to an overall way of doing it, and we'll get into more details.
Right, right. Yep. So, Jerry, do you have what's on the forum today?
I was looking at the forum a little bit, trying to see what new things came up. There's a long-running thread that's been going on with belt and pulley system. I think it's on the Exos 2. We talked about it in the past. There's nothing really new in the last few days on it, so I'm not going to get into that. I do have a story that I'd like to introduce about a new citizen science project that maybe it's not so new, but it's something that NASA wants your help on. So let me share my desktop.
All right.
And we'll talk about this project. So do you see that?
Yeah.
Make it a little bigger. So this is from Astronomy magazine. How do planets form? NASA wants your help finding out. So a NASA citizen science project called Disk Detective enlists volunteers to study images of solar systems as they are forming. So it's kind of neat. How long does it take planets to form in solar systems? Since 2014, so this has been a long-running citizen science project. But since 2014, tens of thousands of volunteers have helped NASA try to answer this question by looking at telescope images of solar systems as their protoplanetary disks are still forming. NASA's Disk Detectives is a citizen science project that enlists members of the public to help analyze data. It was designed to discover disks of gas, rock, and dust circling other stars. These structures appear early on in planet formation, so peering into a planetary disk is like looking at a baby photo of a future solar system. We're trying to understand how long it takes for planets to form, astrophysicist Mark Kuchner said in a NASA release. Kuchner is the Disk Detective Project lead at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, and the Citizen Science Officer for NASA's Science Mission Directorate. Tracing the evolution of these disks is the main way that we know how long planet formation takes. So it's like a broad survey of these gas debris fields around stars. And I'm curious to see what images they're actually using. The project asked volunteers to look at short 10-second videos strung together from existing NASA telescope images. As citizen scientists collect candidates, other telescopes follow up on the discoveries. Ultimately, astronomers' goal is to use disk detectives to learn about many aspects of how planets are born, and users of all ages, including kids and parents, can learn along with them at home. By joining in this experiment, users get to follow along with the educational resources, take part in the active forum discussion board, and hear about discoveries on a blog provided by NASA on the project page. So let's take a look at this project page. I assume this is it right here. So this is something that our audience may want to get in. Looks like this is a generic citizen science project page. Let me go back to the article. I wonder if they have a specific one. This is called Disk Detective. So what I'm probably going to have to do is search for that. Let's do that real quick.
Who's running this Pro-Am project?
Well, it's a NASA sponsored project. They provide the data, I assume. Let me see here. I don't know why this doesn't let me paste this in here. See if I can find it. Find a
There's
project.
a lot of pro-am projects out there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yes, it looks like it.
Right? I'm thinking
Um,
maybe we should get some of the people that are involved, some of the outreach. A lot of these organizations have professional outreach individuals. We should get them on the show and say, look, we've got an
yeah.
audience that may be interested in actually being involved in some pro-am project.
I tried to search for that. I couldn't find it right now, but let's see if there's anything down here at the bottom. The Citizen Science Salon is a partner between Discover, Astronomy, Sister. Okay, so that scistarter.org is in partnership between Discover magazine and what do I? Oh, here we go. Here's the link. See if this will find it. SciStarter. There it is. So if you go to, it looks like if you go to scistarter.org, Disk Detective, you should be able to find it.
Detective.
And
Okay.
so actually, let me go back to this. So this is the link. I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna paste it into our chat
Okay.
and see if I can do that. Chat.
Book Davy says NEO tracking / finding is another NASA amateur program. I like the idea of having some of these people coming on with us,
Yeah. Where's the chat? I can't get it. I think I have to stop sharing
Yeah.
my thing to put the. Well, let me put this in the chat and you can share it with everybody.
Jeff says, I'm so ready for clear skies.
Okay, there it is. So
There you go.
that's the nice thing about these citizen science programs that NASA provides is you on cloudy days you could do this kind of science or this kind of astronomy as an amateur. I still don't like calling us
As
amateurs.
an amateur, it depends how
As a citizen scientist and as an astronomer.
amateur, or you could say as an amateur astronomer. Like that.
Right? No, we're not amateurs. We just love our hobby. That's what amateur means.
How about that? Unpaid.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Jerry's link for that article.
That's actually that's the link to the citizen science project.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Citizen Sites. Yeah, Science Project. That's right. Chuck says, I'm glad to see NASA's doing that. So, me too. We have Global Star Party 8, I think, happening. Yep. Global Star
That's the
Party
year
happening
the
this
European.
4 p.m. It's going to include Pranvera Hysini from Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo. She's joining us, although I think she's in the United States right now. And then we've got Garrett. He's in the UK with Astronomers Lounge. He's going to be.
Who's that lady from Kosovo? Who'd you say? What's her name? What's that?
Pranvera.
I think that's who Ken told me was going to be the keynote speaker for the ALPO convention. If that's right, Ken can chime in there on the chat.
She's been doing a lot of minor planet work with Hap Griffin and those people, so which is really cool. And I think she's studying in the United States at this point. She's after her PhD. So it's great. I mean, to see somebody, again, another young person with a nice trajectory. Pran has gone all over the world, to visit observatories and star parties, and very few people have been involved in the amateur or in the astronomy community like she has. So I think it's totally cool, and she'll be doing. I'm sure she'll be doing professional research for from here on out. She loves minor planets at the moment. Um, are you talking, Jerry?
My lady's trying to get up here on my lap, so
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to tell her to go away for now.
Yes. Go away. Go away. Well, and I think we are kind of wrapped up today. I mean, it's kind of a short program. We were on for 3.5 or 4 hours last
Yeah.
night,
Yep.
so we're a little toasted at the moment. Um, but I'm wondering if anybody has any questions from the audience. Do we want to?
Yeah, let's see if there's any questions. Any equipment questions or anything, any experience questions?
Ken Poshedley says, "Yep, Pranvera is doing her master's degree in planetary science at the University of California, Santa Cruz. I can get the ALPO announcement to you after the show." So that's from Ken. And Ken
Cool.
mentions also that we did meet a couple of times. So I'm going to go look online for Ken's picture, and I'm someone that recognizes faces. And I almost never forget a face. So, but anyhow, Wade says, Scott, any plans to release a PMC 8 mount in the 45-pound capacity range? Yes, there's plans. Yes, there are. Okay. When will it come out? Good question. Okay. So we are close now to having our next mount. First production sample. Okay, that's the sample that you get before you turn on the factory and say, okay, start making these things like crazy. Okay, because you need to get it. Undoubtedly, Jerry will be, working at putting it through its paces and testing it from a number of different angles, and then we may, I don't know if we should at this early stage, but as soon as we can, we should probably get one down to the southern hemisphere and check performance in that way. You can get
Right.
you build something, up here, your whole mind's wired for, northern hemisphere, unless you travel back and forth all the time. So there are things that can be easily overlooked, okay, for southern hemisphere use if you're a northern hemisphere telescope designer. So I think a lot of you that might be watching from the southern hemisphere would agree with that. The G11, I think, is 25 to 30 pounds capacity. No, it's much more. It is much more.
It's 60 to 70 pounds.
Yeah, instrument weight, right?
Right, instrument weight, right.
Instrument
We
weight,
had we had actually we had 80 pounds on the G11 that we have in the observatory.
right? Yeah, and I think Scott Lasmandi has told me that he's seen 100 pounds on it before. He doesn't recommend it, but let's see. Wolfgang says, "I have the recipe. I have recipe the Twilight heavy duty tripod. Uh, is it normal that there is a counterweight bar included for the Twilight heavy duty tripod?"
I'm assuming he ordered it as an add-on to for his IXS 100 maybe.
Counterweight bar? No, no. Um, yeah. So that's maybe you have another question, Wolfgang. Maybe you can send us a photo or something, and we can check that out. Book Davy says, "Well, dang, I need a G11." I know somebody that sells those.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, um, any other questions, guys? Anything else that you're thinking of? Hmm. G11. Jeff Weiss says the G11 with the PMC8 is a sweet machine. Yes, it is. We think so. We think so. Well, here comes some comments. Tracking says my scope arrive there today. Okay. Uh, and then Jeff Weiss says solar filter for the 127 carbon fiber. Yeah, we do make a white light solar filter. They're very inexpensive. And you can see those on our website. In fact, maybe I can just lead you to it. But if you're looking for like an H alpha filter, you know, so that you can see prominences and stuff like that, you know, I would probably recommend Daystar or Coronado, something like that. Let me give you guys the link for our white light solar filters.
And that's something that we could maybe have Gary Palmer talk about at some point in detail in terms of the different filters and why they're useful to look at the sun.
Oh, yeah. He has talked about it a bit. Some of the early conversations that we had, he was talking about, you know, imaging in calcium and many different wavelengths. So the Wolfgang says the counterweight bar does not fit to the IXS 100. Wolfgang, you need
I
to
don't know why you got one. I mean, it must have been added in the box for some
sure.
reason.
There is a rod. Okay. Okay. I think this is what he thinks is the counterweight rod.
That's a familiar sound to everybody that has one of those tripods.
Yes, it is. Yeah, the spreader bar hanging up against the legs there. This thread way up in there. Okay. Now I got it off.
That looks funny. You're doing something off camera.
Okay. So if you got the IXS 100 tripod, you might be talking about this rod, okay? Now this rod has a knob underneath it, okay? And it screws up inside. And then inside of here, you can see there's a threaded rod here and a C-clip that holds it in place. And so once you put in the C-clip, it holds the spreader bar. So you want those vanes on the bottom, okay? You want your tightening knob up here, okay? And so when you're putting the whole thing together, what you do is you pick up the whole tripod, like I'm picking it up off the ground right now, and get those 3 notches. There's a notch here. Let's see if I can turn it a little bit better. A notch right here, and then back here, and that centers over the tripod leg. And when you tighten down the mount on top of it, it adds a dynamic tension, pushing these legs out, okay, while you're pushing the mount down. And this makes this a very, very strong tripod. But don't do this without lifting up the tripod, because what will happen is that you'll have one of these notches not really touching the leg where it should be. And it won't be as strong. So I think that's possibly what you're thinking of. And yeah, it does sort of look like a counterweight. It does look like a counterweight rod. So, and Tim, that was the way that the tripods go together is the same for the Exos 2 and the IXOS 100. That tripod that I was showing you is for the IXOS 100, so a little bit different. Yep. And so I think we're at the end of our program today.
Yeah, I think we're ready to get on, since we're tired today.
A little bit tired.
I got probably about 4 hours of sleep today.
Oh yeah, right. Wade Prunty says the Exos 2 shows a capacity of 28 pounds. Is that true, or should you back off any? Wade, we put almost 85 pounds on the with counterweights and telescope onto the onto the mount just to show people that it could handle the weight. The difference is what we give two weight capacities that are quote unquote official on our mounts. One of them is photographic. Okay, and photographic is going to be a conservative number because based off of some experience that we've had, once you go past this number, the characteristic of the tracking changes. Okay, it's not like it goes wild and things are going to break and you're going to grind gears or start destroying things. Okay, it just means that the tracking behavior itself changes slightly. I can tell you though that we've been proven wrong again and again and again by people putting lots of equipment on our mounts and going past this. So Jerry and I have talked about this.
Right.
We have thought about putting up some examples of people that have loaded up their mounts. Okay, I'm still not going to back off of our conservative numbers because that's what we designed it for. Okay, but can you go past them? In many cases, the answer is yeah, you sure can, and we have people that do it. So.
That's one thing with the PMC-8 and especially with the IXS 100. We use the same motor and drivetrain on the IXS 100 that we put on the XS2 so that we could guarantee performance at that level, even when people wanted to overload the mount. Not that we designed it for that, but the fact that the weak point's not going to be the motor drive system. It's absolutely not going to be that. It's going to be your tolerance for vibration and for tracking guiding performance is what it is. That's whatever your tolerance is, that's how much you can load it up is what it comes down to.
That's true. That's true. Aaron Thompson says this is a great question. Is this the similar to the weight of say a 15-pound telescope on the IXS 100? Yeah, that more, I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm not looking at the specs right now myself. But yeah, the smaller number is intended for astrophotographers. But again, Aaron, we have people that have loaded up that scope with 4-inch ED-APO triplet with 80 millimeter guide scope and all kinds of stuff on their mounts. So
they had two more counterweights on top of the two that we provide,
and a counterweight extension rod, so they can even add more.
Right.
So it's crazy, but that's the deal. That's the deal. So, well, hopefully tomorrow, Jerry and I will be a little bit more awake and able to commensurate a little bit more.
But, yeah, and I hope the audience will. Y'all send in your topic suggestions. We'd really love to hear what you'd like us to talk about. I've done a poll online, but it's a more general poll. But anything specific that you have that you can think about, send them to us. Send them to s@explorescientific.com.
Yeah.
s@explorescientific.com, or if you want them to send them to me.
Yeah.
jrh@explorescientific.com.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I wanted to also give a little bit of a shout out for the Astronomical League. John Goss, former president of the Astronomical League, sent me a new guide here, and it's a new guidebook that helps people who are new to amateur astronomy find celestial wonders. And exploring the starry realm begins by showing folks how to learn the night sky, then progresses to describing how to use finder scopes and binoculars. It concludes with showing budding amateurs how to uncover hidden celestial treasures through the techniques of RA sweeping, triangulation, and star hopping. The volume is loaded with examples, tips, illustrations, and step-by-step instructions. So that's very cool.
That looks to be pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, there's a nice, polar alignment illustration over here with a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, you can see. Okay, and how to find Polaris, this kind of stuff. That's actually, this particular one is true angular field of view. So like the Alpha and Beta stars and the Ursa Major is 5 degrees separation. These two N stars. It's hard to do backwards. There we go. Two N stars. And of course, the moon being 30 arc minutes, half a degree. And what is apparent field of view and true field of view? You know, how does the night sky appear? You know, if you could paint right ascension and declination lines against the sky, you know, what would it look like to you? So kind of a that dome effect. Excellent. Right ascension
That's
suite.
cool.
Yeah.
Is that available for download, or is that something you have to purchase?
I think maybe. No, I think you would have to buy it from the league, but that helps support league activities, you know. So,
Right, yeah. That looks like a very useful book. I'm gonna have to check that out myself.
so go to astroleague.org. We give them a little shout out at the end of this program, and you can see the website, but it is astroleague.org. And this one's called Exploring the Starry Realm. So, and with that, I think we will say goodnight and see you tomorrow. Take care. Oh, how about not that one? How about this one? Let's start the program all over again.
Yeah, right.